Yo, what's going on, everyone? Got another episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I have Ben. He is back and better than ever. I hope. Ben, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I feel like I'm finally recovered from the sour playoff scenario that I had to experience. So, yeah, it took a little time to recover. Uh, Not so bitter right now.
That's
I
good.
can go ahead. I can go ahead and tell you that it feels pretty good. Yes, I did not get first in our league, but there's a little bit of consolation knowing that I got first in two other leagues. So,
There you go.
feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good.
Well, good deal. I did not get first in a single league. It's I had an opportunity in one other league, but man, I lost out in the semifinals by 2 points. But what can you do? So,
Is what it
um,
is,
it
man.
is.
It's the nature of the beast.
But anyways, AJ won. Congrats to AJ. Uh,
Congratulations, AJ. Really proud of you, buddy.
So he's a happy man. Everybody that didn't win is also happy because league
Eek.
reset did not happen. The only person that might not be happy is Steve, who took last place. I'm excited to see what he's going to do for that last place presentation. Uh, I have high expectations of Steve. I think he's going to deliver pretty good. So
I
that
I think we can almost guarantee that Steve is going to have us rolling on the ground laughing. I think that's a given.
I think so too. So um man, this episode's gonna be a little bit different, Ben. We're used to these fantasy matchup breakdowns, and we don't have any matchup breakdowns to talk about in the fantasy side. We're gonna break down some NFL matchups this week. We got wild card round.
Hmm.
It's I don't know. These playoffs are gonna be something special. I think it's gonna be something unique. I'm excited for it. But before we
Yeah.
get going too far into the NFL, uh, Ben, uh, just staying on this past year's fantasy football league, you had one of the better teams, and then it kind of went Buffalo Bills there in the playoffs. Uh,
Yep.
so that's why I always say we play 2 seasons, and your team just didn't show for the second season. Um,
No.
you still
No.
did better than my team. At least you made the playoffs.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about getting to the playoffs, but once you're in there, yes, it is a whole nother season, but finishing last in the championship bracket, it's not really a good feeling. Uh, I think you'd rather actually be seventh than be sixth in this scenario because then you would be at least naming somebody's team.
You'd be naming somebody's team, but I think it's one of those things with how you get into the championship bracket. Like you deserve to be in the playoffs. Like your team was worthy of that. If you're a team that snuck in and then took sixth, yeah, it probably doesn't feel too good. Um,
Yep.
Winning seventh, yeah, I guess there is some niceness to it, but you also have the fear. If you're in that consolation bracket, are you on the bottom four fighting for last place? And it's funny. Everybody was looking at my team and Taylor's team to get in last place. Well, we were the ones playing for seventh place.
Yep.
I wish I could have named Steve's team. That would have been great, but the honor does go to Taylor. Um, but
What can you say, man?
but no, dude, my team. I mean, would I do things differently? Yeah, knowing how it ended, but my team just got going a little too late. Tail end of the season, I had one of the better teams, but whenever you're behind, getting into week 7, week 8, you have to play really well, and you need some luck because teams will just outperform you, even if you have good weeks, and that did happen. But
Yep.
uh, keepers, I think keepers for next year, I'm set. I know right now I'm definitely looking at Puka for 10th round and Jalen in the fourth. So I did that big trade with Josh earlier this year to kind of start preparing for next year's draft. Ben, what are you thinking on keepers?
I think that my team is actually stacked in terms of keepers because I used the keeper on Isaiah Pacheco
Mm-hmm.
for a 10th this year, so I still get to keep him for a ninth next year.
That'd be a good
He
keep.
clearly is worth that pick right now.
Absolutely.
But Dalton Kincaid has been looking like he's developing a pretty good rapport up in Buffalo.
Yep.
Nico Collins down in Houston,
When
that's
did you
pretty
draft
solid.
him?
Ah, you know, the problem is I drafted him in so many leagues. I know in one of them I got him in the eighth. One of them I got him like the 14th. So I don't remember which league this was, but even at the eighth, I think Nico is probably worth that right now.
But you did draft him.
Yes.
Well, let me use this cool little tool we got going here. Let me share my screen and we'll just take a look, Ben. I know you can't see it, but I can definitely pull this up.
At least I'm pretty sure I drafted him. I think it was like I don't think it was the 10th round. I
You
think it was
drafted
before.
him, Nico Collins, in the 11th round.
Oh, boys, I think we know who I'm keeping.
And
unless just throwing this out there, I might be keeping a quarterback, boys.
dude, are you gonna
I
go the
got
Wombo combo?
I could. I got CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. Maybe. Just
Dude,
saying.
that is pretty nasty. Um,
So I feel good about that. I also have Jordan Addison on my roster too. So depending what happens with the quarterback situation in Minnesota, that might be something worth watching. And I don't know if you guys saw this too, but Justin Jefferson was really heated in that last game, and somebody was trying to read his lips, and it looked like at one point on the sidelines he was yelling, "Just trade me to San Francisco." So I'm just saying Jefferson might be a little fed up, you
well,
know?
I think a lot of it's gonna depend on if they get Kirk Cousins back, what they might do in the draft.
Yep.
I think
So
Jefferson. It's just a frustrating year for the Vikings. So,
yep.
but yeah,
So yeah, on the keepers thing, I actually think I'm set to at least have some pretty decent
dude,
keepers.
I would
I
say
think
I
I yeah,
because I'm
I
not
feel
gonna
pretty
lie,
good.
I didn't even look at your team. You just start naming them off, and it's like, good night, Ben. Yeah, you have options. Go Wombo combo. You don't even have to do that. You could go other players. It's yeah, you got options,
Yep.
and luckily you don't have to make a decision right now. You could really kind of see how things play out.
Exactly. So
Um,
yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to uh honestly I'm looking forward to the draft. I really want to get to the NFL draft this year and see what teams take. And then I'm already ready to go draft my team for next year. Like,
yeah.
if we want to do that early this year, boys, let's go for it. I'm thinking
Well,
July.
think in July, dude. Ben, of all people, you know what happens whenever we draft early and players get hurt. So,
Right.
um,
So if we're going to do it anyway, I always say that we do it too early anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and say if we're going to draft earlier and draft during preseason, let's go before preseason. Let's even go earlier.
I think the
Just hear me
earliest
out.
that we could get into doing drafts is like the first part of August. I don't know if we could even do drafts before August on the Yahoo platform, anyways.
Yeah.
So, um, but
August 3rd, calling it.
but speaking of drafts, because we're going to transition over to the NFL here soon, I've talked with a lot of you in the league, and I'm not going to get into big detail on it right now. This will be something I'll talk about in the coming weeks. But I'm in addition to this league. This league will always be the main league. I want to be clear on that. Nothing's changing with this league. I have no plans on getting rid of it. This league is too good, too competitive, and we've been doing it for so long. This will always be in a sense my baby, in a sense not my baby, but you know what I mean. Uh, but I'm starting a dynasty league. Talked with a lot of you guys about it. Uh, just big key details. After year one, the league is free. We're going to be, uh, in a sense, our pride, our knowledge, just giving each other grief, hard times, whatnot, because we're so competitive. We don't necessarily need to do money. We're going to have an awesome trophy. I'm going to be sharing my plans for that too. So year one, it's going to be 20 or $30, depending on how much the trophy is going to be. After that, there's no money involved. I'll break down how the structure of the league is going to be, uh, how the year one draft is going to go, and then how other rookie drafts are going to go after that. Scoring, not going to lie, scoring will be very, very, very similar to how this league is structured because we really are at a sweet spot. And the league will be in Sleeper, not Yahoo. That'll be one of the other big key differences. But I'm going to be going over that a lot more in the coming weeks. I'm not necessarily looking for hard commitments into this league until after the NFL draft. By then, I'll have all the details shared about this. And then if you guys want in, awesome. If you don't, that's okay. It'll be no hard feelings. So I only want people in this league that's going to be in it for the experience, that wants to be competitive, have fun. Same thing as this league. So, any point in time that you guys have questions, feel free to ask me. Uh, and with that, let's go and talk about the NFL playoff spin. Um, correct
Let's
me
go
if I.
ahead and let's go ahead and preface this. This season's playoff scenarios, it might be some of the craziest playoff scenarios that we've seen. Like the matchups, like if there's ever been a possibility for like upsets and craziness happening in the playoffs, this might be it. Like, holy cow. The teams that we thought were going to be favorites, maybe not favorites anymore.
I like this year, like 5, 6 weeks ago. Like it's just crazy seeing what it's come down to. I know right now I'd say the favorite. I mean the favorites for the Super Bowl, I believe, is the Ravens over the 49ers. Like that matchup's
Yep.
the favorite. Ravens have a small edge over the 49ers.
Yep.
I think the reason why the Ravens have the edge over the 49ers is because the strength of schedule for the Ravens is easier. The NFC is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of teams, they are set up pretty evenly. Any team there could beat any team in the NFC. The AFC is a little bit different. I think we have a couple teams in there that don't stand a chance, um, unless they pull off a Mickey B, if you know what I mean. Um, sorry, but uh, but yeah, I mean, you had, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ben. Before the season started, you had Chiefs and Vikings with Chiefs winning, and then I had Chiefs and Eagles with Eagles winning. Well, yours can't come true anymore. Mine still can, but it's not my
Mitch,
current prediction.
Mitch, I'll go ahead and say it. Yours can't come true either.
Technically, it can. I mean,
Yeah. Yes, it technically can.
I'm
In a
holding on to a
world of
technicality right now.
Yeah, in a world of being a realist, oh my god, it ain't happening.
Dude, I've never seen a team crap the bed so hard.
uh
As an Eagles
Both
fan,
ways.
it's
Both
yeah.
teams.
Um, eh,
But
I think the thing with the Chiefs, we've seen like throughout the year, there's been question marks about that team, and we're
yeah,
like, man, like what's quite going on here? Like something didn't seem right, and then it became more like obvious. Like they're just slower on offense. It sucks because they have probably one of the best defensive cores that they've had in a long time. So they got the defense to do it. It's just if the Chiefs' offense was a middle of the pack offense or a top 10 offense, it'd be no question. I think they would go all the way, but they just don't have it. Kelsey's lost a little bit of a step, and he's still being double teamed. Nothing that you can do with that. You got Rice stepping up. I think he's going to be a big player in this league, but you don't have a true number one receiver on that team, and nobody can catch a ball. Um, Eagles, jeez. Um, yeah, they were winning some games. They were doing really good, winning against good teams and beating them. They were finding ways to win games. And you look at them, you're like, they're not clicking on all cylinders yet because like we know what they're capable of. And then man, they fell off a cliff and more. It's I'm not going to be surprised if they get knocked off first round. That's same for the Chiefs too. Uh,
Yep.
but yeah, we'll get in that matchup breakdown. But the likelihood of Chiefs and Eagles making the Super Bowl very, very unlikely.
Hmm.
I know my playoff prediction. I'm a little biased on what I did for obvious reasons, but I think the obvious pick. I think Ravens. I think is the obvious pick that's going to go there, and I think it'll be either the 49ers or Lions that they will go against. If I had to give uh, a safe prediction, I don't think I think Cowboys are going to ribcage it like they always do. Sorry, but I think 49ers or Lions um, are the best teams in the NFC that's capable of doing it. But
Hmm.
who do you?
I understand where you're thinking that, but I do like what everyone's saying about the favorites. It does seem to me like Baltimore versus San Francisco looks like a pretty safe bet. I can see that happening. Um, that being said, I think I'm actually leaning to the Buffalo Bills as the winners of the AFC right now. And oh boy, this feels dirt. No, I'm gonna stick with 49ers. I think that they're just it's too hard to stop that. Like they don't need Brock Purdy to be an all-star. They've got Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk,
Hmm.
Greg Kittle, good defense. Like it's just a well-rounded team. So I think probably Buffalo on their hot streak and uh, the 49ers just because I don't want to be the person who just picks the favorites.
Yeah, it's whenever I do my uh, prediction map, it's I don't have the favorites in there. I just won't. Some other people will do it. I do know if I win, that's because I'm a genius because my picks are so I don't want to say ridiculous, but they're a little ridiculous. Um, but I want to go ahead and we'll talk about the wild card picks this week. And I know Ben, you can't see my screen, but I have a bracket here in front of me, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna talk about the bracket challenge here after we get this all filled out. But yeah, I want to start with the wild card round. Texans and Browns. Who do you got winning?
I have to say that I'm really impressed with what the Browns are doing, but I'm going to pick the Texans because there's a special little spot in my heart for CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. I'm like, come on, boys, pull it off. So brain says Browns, heart says Texans.
So
And I always go with the heart.
my brain and heart says Browns. Um, I think we're seeing Joe Flacco from the year that he won the Super Bowl. Uh, it's and Joe Flacco, he's playing like he has nothing to lose. Like I don't care.
Yep.
It's like I was watching football on the couch earlier this year, and he's lighting it up. So, but
Yep.
I got the Browns winning. I think it's not to doubt the Texans. This is probably the toughest matchup this week. Um,
Here's what I'll say about that matchup, though, is that think of it this way. If either of those teams were to get to the Super Bowl, what a great storyline.
yep.
Like how that it's going to be hard to not be cheering for those teams if they can get to Super Bowl.
Oh,
So,
if it, unless they're playing the Eagles, I will be rooting for one of those two teams if one of those two
yep.
teams make it. Um, so you got Texans, I got Browns. We're gonna stick on the AFC side. Chiefs and Dolphins.
Oh, you know exactly how that plays out. Who's going to win? The team who knows how to play in the cold. It's going to be 4 degrees, sir.
So you
Like,
got
please tell me more about how the Dolphins are prepared to play in what is potentially going to be the coldest NFL game ever.
so I might get some heat on this. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins.
Mitch, I just told you it's the coldest game. There's no
I know.
heat.
See, the problem is this is gonna become a running attack. If they start throwing it, we know the Chiefs aren't gonna catch it. Uh, and I think the Dolphins have a better running attack. They are hurt, but I think the Dolphins will come into Arrowhead. It'll be an upset pick. Chiefs should win this game, but they should have won a lot of games this year. I think Dolphins are going to come in there. A Chain is going to just blow it up. And this is a game where I think Dolphins will get ahead early and Chiefs won't be able to get caught up. So, the team that I had going to the Super Bowl, I got knocked out in the first round. That's my prediction, though.
Hey, well
All right.
done, Mitch.
Bills and Steelers.
Um, I'm not even gonna spend time on this. The Bills are gonna destroy them.
The Bills
I'm
should
tired.
destroy the Steelers.
I'm tired of hearing about the Steelers. Like, look, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me they belong in the playoffs. I, I just don't think they're that good, and especially it's so inconsistent. Like
It's I
they
know
figure out a way to win, but it's a new way every time. Which
they're
like, oh, we won because of our run game this time.
yeah.
Najee Harris apparently remembered to play for the first time in 14 weeks. So
I will say Mason Rudolph is doing better. And their offense actually seems to be doing something now, but they lost their best player that's not playing this week. And that not that that was going to matter too much in this game, but I think even if Josh Allen has one of those games where there's mistake after mistake, the Bills will still find a way to win this game. And that's just because the Steelers can't stay caught up. It's just the Bills are capable of shooting themselves in the foot, but Bills will win this game. So far, you and I agree on one game.
yes, one.
All right, we're gonna go over to NFC. Buccaneers and Eagles.
Mitch, I'm gonna make you happy. It's gonna be the Eagles. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be the Eagles.
I'm also picking the Eagles, and this is not a biased opinion. I think in the NFC, the Buccaneers, this is their best matchup that they could have hoped for, and the Eagles, this is their best matchup they could have hoped for this week. Both teams are struggling, um, and this is a game where I hope Eagles come in, they play well, get things figured out, get to the divisional round, and then we'll see. All right. Oh, these next two games, man. Lions and Rams.
Oh, here's the deal. I want to root for the Lions because, like, if you've been paying attention to them at all, Dan Campbell has really revitalized this thing. They are a fun team to watch. They're very passionate. But I think that experience in the playoffs is what's going to play out as the deciding factor. And I think that the Rams are going to pull this one out. But I'm thinking like maybe like a 3 point win, something like that. Low scoring game, 3 point win. That's what I'm figuring.
So you got Rams winning in a low scoring game.
Yep.
I have Rams winning in a high scoring game. I think this is going to be a shootout. Um,
See, I thought that too, but every time I've said it's going to be a shootout, it's been the exact opposite this year. Like the games where I thought it was going to be like a huge high scoring affair, I can think of one of the Chiefs games. I thought it was going to be a really high scoring game, and it was like a, I don't know, 13-10 or something.
yeah.
So
All right.
I'm just going off that. I think that's the safer bet.
All right. So we both got the Rams. Cowboys and Packers. You know what I'm going to
I
pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Cowboys then.
Are you taking Cowboys just because I'm picking the Packers? Or
No,
you think the Cowboys are going to win this game?
I think the Cowboys are going to win this game, and there's only one name that I think is the deciding factor. That's CD Lamb. Like if CD Lamb just pops off again, I'm sorry, I don't know that the Packers offense can keep up with that. I don't know that Packers defense has a way to shut him down. but I know that the Dallas defense will have ways to slow the Packers offense. I think they've done a lot of good things, and Jordan Love looks like he's progressing. Young receivers there are really doing a great job, but uh, yeah, I just see Dallas pulling this out.
So I'm saying Packers, and this isn't just because of my hatred for the Cowboys, because I do hate the Cowboys, but Cowboys find ways to lose in the playoffs, and I think the Packers, they got nothing to lose in this game. The Packers, I could argue, it's I think the youngest team in the NFL. Jordan Love is playing well, and they have a key piece that I think if they utilize him, they're going to win this game. A few weeks ago, what did the Bills do to the Cowboys? Cook lit it up. Who is as healthy as he's been all year and has been playing well? Aaron Jones. You do that combination with Love in that offense, and Matt LaFleur. I think they could go down to Dallas and upset them. I hope for it for obvious reasons. I think it's going to happen. Um, yeah, Cowboys are going to get knocked out wild card round. So I got the pack.
Well, Andrew's going to be happy about that then.
He'll be happy with that. I mean, we know he was going to pick that. Him and I were already saying easy clap on that game. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be tickled to death, laughing hysterically if Cowboys lose because it's just they get in their own way, and they are one of the most talented teams in the NFL, but they find a way to choke. It's great. Um, maybe it's payback for all the years I've seen the Eagles choke. Uh, Speaking of choking, they've done it this year. Well, it's not technically over yet, but that is the wild card round of the playoffs. I know we'll go over next week's matchups whenever next week's will come. Ben, I'm going to go ahead and share the rest of my bracket with league or with who I think is going to win. You could like it, hate it, do whatever you want. Nobody else is going to match this, so I'm not worried about it. I don't plan on changing anything. So what you guys are going to see here will be the final result, more than likely, at least for me. But I'm going to go back to the AFC side. I have uh, because I had Dolphins beating the Chiefs. I have Ravens and Dolphins playing each other in the divisional round. In that matchup, I have the Ravens winning. I have the Ravens going to the AFC Championship game. In the other divisional game, I have the Bills and the Browns because I had the Browns beat the Texans. I have the Browns beating the Bills. The Browns defense is really, really good, and it will punish Josh Allen if he makes mistakes, which I think will happen. It's the playoffs, which comes to a Ravens and Browns AFC Championship game. Um,
Wow.
Dude, I want it so bad. And then what's great, Joe Flacco is gonna beat the Ravens. The Browns are going to the Super Bowl. That is my AFC Super Bowl pick, the Browns. I feel dirty, but man, if Joe Flacco does it, if Joe
You
Flacco
are
goes to the Super Bowl, I might get a Joe Flacco jersey, a Browns jersey at that too.
oh my gosh. I'm
Do,
sorry, but the idea of them making it to the Super Bowl without Nick Chubb, that just feels dirty to me. I don't want that.
I think with how Flacco's playing, people were counting them out. He came in, revitalized that team. He's playing well. I've been very adamant that I think Lamar Jackson's overrated as a quarterback. He's Matt Ryan 2.0. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but they've choked in the playoffs, and until I see something different, I don't believe it. So yeah, I got the Browns in the Super Bowl. Don't know who else in the league or who else is going to do this challenge is going to have the Browns in the Super Bowl. They might. They got the team to do it. It's just, will Joe Flacco keep doing what Joe Flacco's been doing? If he does, watch out. Um, in the NFC. So it's funny. I picked all the wild card teams to win. You almost did. You only had the Cowboys winning theirs.
I know. I know.
So because of that, I have the 49ers and Packers playing each other. Um, I have the Packers winning. um, call me crazy. I got the Packers beating the 49ers. I don't know how they're going to do it, but
You're crazy.
you're crazy. Orson's going to love this pick, but I got the Packers beating the 49ers. I just think that the Packers are playing very well, and they're going to ride that luck train as far as they can. Eagles and Rams. It
Oh, this is
I would
obvious.
I would rather, oh, of course it's obvious. I would rather the Eagles play the Lions, because I think the Eagles match up better with the Lions. I think the Rams passing attack is one of the best in the league right now. And who has the worst secondary? The Eagles. So, I mean, if I was a smart man, I'd pick the Rams, but I'm not. At least when it comes to my Eagles, and I will never not pick them. So I'm picking the Eagles. So I have a number 7 seed playing a number 5 seed in the NFC Championship game.
Oh my god.
Like I said, no one's going to pick this bracket. um, and yeah,
You,
Eagles are going to
you,
beat the Packers. Home field
you,
advantage. They'll end it. So
Mitch, you probably need to go like pit betting odds on this bracket or something because like the long shot odds of this would probably make you a millionaire.
it probably would, but I'm not going to bet. Nah.
No.
So that gives me a Browns number 5 seed against Eagles number 5 seed in the Super Bowl. And of course, I got the Eagles winning. Is this going to happen? Probably not.
Yes.
I
Yes.
would say the Browns legitimately have a better chance to make it to the Super Bowl than the Eagles do. I'm not going to lie. I think the Browns. There's only 2 teams I think could beat them in the AFC. I do think the Ravens can beat them because I am banking on Joe Flacco being Joe Flacco, and the
Hmm.
Bills if we see good Josh Allen. If we see good
Yep.
Josh Allen with no mistakes, they could beat the Browns. Sorry, I think the Browns are going to beat the Texans just because of inexperience. Uh, Chiefs, they're not good. They're struggling so hard. I don't know if they could rebound from what they're doing. It is Patrick Mahomes. We'll see. Um, and then Steelers, don't get me started. The Dolphins, they can't beat a good team. If the Chiefs were playing anything worthwhile, the Chiefs would win that game. They the Chiefs should still win that game. It is going to be like -5 degrees, but I could just see Dolphins coming in and upset them. Because I think it's going to become a running game left and right, and I just think Miami is going to be able to run over the Chiefs better than Chiefs running over Miami. But I could be wrong. But that's what I got: Browns, Eagles in Super Bowl. Eagles winning. My biased pick. We all know Orson's going to have the Packers winning.
Yep.
But and I'm curious how many people in this league will have the Chiefs picking because they will be just as guilty as me. Are you picking? Are you going to put the
Hey,
Chiefs to go all the way?
no.
So you're quitting on your team then?
You know what? I've had enough stuff happen in the course of the past month that let's just say I've lost all faith and hope in just about everything right now, not just the Chiefs. So me being a realist, a pessimist, whatever you want to call it, you know what? I predicted that we would see like absolutely no snow with the snowstorm we were supposed to get. So my staff was very unhappy with me about that. So yeah, I'm telling you that watching the Chiefs, if that team makes it to the Super Bowl, I almost don't want them to make it to the Super Bowl just so they get it through their heads. This is not a wide receiver core that works. Like I want there's a tiny portion of me that wants them to lose in the first round, and make sure that it comes at the hands of Marquez Valdez Scantling again dropping a touchdown
Like a
so
one
that
a
we
1 yard touchdown pass or something.
yep, so that they finally get it through their heads like this was a terrible experiment. We will never do that again.
Yeah,
Looks like we're drafting a wide receiver and probably paying way too much money for other wide receivers. It's time to start all over because you have Patrick Mahomes. How dare you waste that on this lackluster wide receiver core?
no,
And for the love of God, go fix that tackle situation because they can't save him at all.
yeah.
So, no, yes, I love it when the Chiefs win. It makes me happy. But I think if they win the Super Bowl, it's at the hands of some fluke or divine intervention because this team is not the best team in the AFC right now.
No.
And they have done little to prove that. Also, I
Um,
hope that Travis Kelsey breaks up with Taylor Swift because he's not a Super Bowl winner.
I I hope that relationship stays. I love it. I'm a Swifty because of it.
Oh, well, that's great because I'll tell you right now that if that relationship stays, Travis Kelsey's retiring.
He probably is. I heard that Andy Reid might retire after this year too.
Yep.
I
That's
th-
okay. We'll get his brother Randy Reid to coach.
honestly, for the Chiefs, for how much I hate the Chiefs, I've become a positive critic of what I want them to do to be successful. I think they need to go pay Eric a whole lot of money to come back as offensive coordinator with an understanding that when Reid retires, you will have your shot. We will give you an opportunity. I think Patrick Mahomes needs that kind of mind at offensive coordinator because we've seen how awesome Matt Nagy is, and then also a reminder of when Reid does call plays, he doesn't quite have it like he did 10 years ago. Uh, yeah, you need better weapons that will help, but the Chiefs did it last year without a wide receiver. They were
I
able to
will
do it.
argue. I
Um,
will argue that Juju Smith-Schuster was still clearly leaps and bounds ahead of what is.
Oh, you're
We'll
definitely
call it there
missing
right
him
now.
this year. I mean,
Yeah,
it was still a lot left to be desired after last year, but then looking at this year, you're like, man. And maybe that's because we were comparing Juju to Tyreek Hill, but I still think the Chiefs' offense can be even better than what they had last year with Juju. Get the right play caller, go get a true weapon.
yep,
It's kind of like the Tom Brady and Randy Moss. Why did they not do that sooner or longer? Look how ridiculous that was. Um, I just chuck it. He's out there somewhere. So, but Ben, I think that's it. I think that's gonna wrap up our episode for tonight. Guys, next week we will have another episode. It will be shorter. We had a lot more to talk about tonight, but we're gonna talk matchups. I might even talk some Dynasty League stuff next week. And then, I did have one more thing about the this past year, this league. Until the Yahoo gets things set up for next year, I can't do that same breakdown that I've done before with keepers, where you can easily see what round you can keep them. So, my goal inside that current channel I have about the 2024 keepers, I'm going to take a snapshot of everybody's current roster with season stats, total season stats. So that way you could at least refer to that and then cross check it with the players that were drafted last year. Um, just remember, a player can't be kept for more than 2 years in a row. Doesn't matter who had that player, and or if he got dropped and then picked back up. So, like Steve, Joe Burrow cannot be kept. He was a player that's been kept twice. Uh, Clark had him this past year, and the year before, Nick and Cody did. Clark did drop him, but the contract was already over, or the contract was already over. It's the years of kept have already been taking place. A few years ago at the draft, we voted to like no, it doesn't matter if a player was dropped and then picked back up. That was almost impossible to track. So, um, but yeah, if you guys want to get a deep dive into your keepers, you might have to do a little bit of research on your own, at least for your team, until I could get that posted probably in July, whenever the league opens up again. And we'll be talking about each other's teams and potential keepers, who we think each person's going to keep, whatnot. So, but yeah, that's it. Gonna wrap it up. See you all next week. As always, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And see you all next week. Peace.